So what's up, Alexander the Average? How are you, man? Are you excited for your trilogy fight with Max Holloway this weekend?
Yeah, of course, mate. That's easy money. That's like us cooking kangaroos back in Australia.
Oh, that's what's up, man. So what's your plans? What's your game plan for this fight? What do you think?
Well, honestly, Triple C, I plan on doing the same thing I always do.
So your plan is on winning and then eventually going up and win a second bout, huh?
Yeah, I think I want to be double champ just like you, Triple C.
Your time will come. Your time will come to come up and challenge Triple C. Don't worry, those 55-pounders will pound you. Your time is coming. Good luck, pal.
Henry, you can't get Volk off your mind. You're pulling off his head right there. You're playing with him at fight week. An important fight for him. He's got the trilogy with Max Holloway, and you're off there ripping the heads? Come on, man.
I just don't give a fuck. Let's get this ball rolling, Schmo, because time is money, and money is time.
And with that said, welcome back to the Triple C and Schmo show. I'm the Schmo. My partner's got Olympic gold medal. The champ, making the comeback. Humble Henry Cejudo.
What's going on, Schmo? How's everything? I like the new, by the way, I like the new hair, man. Bringing back Slim Shady, huh?
Blonde Schmo. First time, baby. Got to switch it up. International Fight Week, Triple C. You dig it?
I like it, man. I like it. I think it's you definitely look Italian, to be quite honest with you.
Italian. There's a lot of good-looking blonde guys, man. Danny Sabatello, Israel Adesanya's done the blonde hair. You can't forget Blonde Brunson. So many guys. Phil Hawes. Lots of guys do the blonde hair. And now add the Schmo to the list.
Yeah, congratulations, Schmo. You looking good.
Appreciate that. Let's start off with this. Let's call it long story short. Pun intended. Debut of this segment. Let's talk about UFC Vegas 57, this fight night, this past weekend at the Apex. The Schmo was over in Chicago watching it from a bar because we had AEW the other night. But let's talk about this, man. What's your biggest takeaway from this? Because it was a great fight night.
Man, it was a great fight, and I think the main event happened to prove that's probably the most competitive fight that I have seen in mixed martial arts, honestly. It was maybe not the slickest Gamrot. Help me pronounce that, Schmo.
Mateusz Gamrot?
Yeah, Gamrot. Yeah, maybe Gamrot is not the slickest, but he found a way to really get to his takedowns, find ways to steal the rounds, and whoever says the other guy won is you're out of your mind. This is the perfect way of how is it that you still fight and literally, you might have maybe taken a little more damage, but time control of the cage and all that is a trip, man. It's crazy.
Hey, Triple C, I'm glad you said that because let's start off with the Schmo arguing with you because in real time we scored it for Arman Tsarukyan. Yes, he got the takedowns, Gamrot, but look at the damage. Look at the body kicks. And even if it was round 4, that was in question. Let the Schmo just say this. By no means was this a robbery that Gamrot won the fight. But the scoring and the judging, the inconsistencies from week to week. Because in round 4, yes, he got the takedown. He took the back. But are you not scoring the knockdown? He dropped him a few times this fight. Tsarukyan dropped Gamrot. And what did Gamrot really do with the takedowns outside of round 4? It's an interesting fight. And it looks like Tsarukyan, he had more skills. They were very evenly matched up with the grappling department. Like you said, it was probably the most evenly matched fight the Schmo's seen in ages, if not ever. But when it comes down to it, it was the cardio of Gamrot, and he wanted it more in the championship rounds. I could see them giving it to him in different ways, but the inconsistencies of the judging week in and week out, the Schmo in real time had Arman Tsarukyan winning the fight.
Yeah, I mean, I want to agree with you, but no, I think just you talk about somebody still in a fight, Schmo. I can relate to this man. I believe he has a wrestling background, and I can relate to him. Like I said, he's not the slickest on his feet, but he's a gamer. And gamers that win are typically brawlers, or they just find a way to win, and that's who he is. He's going to go back. He's going to make adjustments. He's going to have to make adjustments. But I love the guy. I love the kid just for the simple fact that Gamrot called out Justin Gaethje. Like legit called him out, and he did it. It's like, no, this isn't a front. This is something that I want to fight you. I want the most brutal guy because I want my shot at the title. And to me, as Justin Gaethje is my friend, I respect that. Whomever, he's going out there, he's chasing his dream, and you can't argue that, man. Like, you have to respect that. I think this is why I'm a big fan. If he can really polish up his striking a bit with that mentality, with that gamer mentality that he has, all you 155 pounders, including Charles the Bronx and Islam, man, you guys will be in for a treat with this guy. This guy knows how to win.
Absolutely. Gamer is his nickname. The Schmo thinks he's a high energy guy.
Is that his nickname, Schmo?
He's Polish. The Schmo knows. He's heard Joanna Jędrzejczyk call him Gamer. I believe Gamer is his nickname, and he's certainly game. The guy, like you said, he finds a way to win. We've seen him do it. It was so impressive what he did against Jeremy Stephens. Even he had a fight, I believe it was in Fight Island early on. The guy, you know him well, Goran. I think Goran won that fight, but the judges gave it to Gamrot. He found a way to steal the fight in Fight Island. Might have been one of his first fights in the UFC. And, it's a situation where the guy finds a way to win the game. You can't knock him on it. He's entertaining. He wants the toughest fights. He's taking a lot of damage. He still goes forward, and he calls out Gaethje. We love that. Triple C, who else impressed you? Because Rakhmonov, the way he just dismantled Neil Magny, and Umar Nurmagomedov, man, a domination at Bantamweight. Between those two guys, woo!
Man, Umar he's ready. He's ready for the top 10. He's ready for the top 5. This kid is dangerous. I've always told him, I said, I'm not sure if we'll ever cross paths, Schmo, but maybe we will, because he's gonna have to, he's gonna have a path to get to the title. But nobody should sleep on this dude. This dude is a real deal, and I think you set him up with the other Russian, Zahid. I believe is Zahid.
Saeed Nurmagomedov, no relation to Khabib Nurmagomedov.
No, but I think that's the way the UFC should bring it down, because there's 2 Russians. Let it be one. Let's see who is the best Russian to come out of there. Once they start to come up, you apparently do have to match them up to see one of the guys from Russia come out and fight each other. So I think Umar, he should still take his time. He wasn't able to finish this guy. This guy wasn't the absolute, the greatest. But, I mean, Umar's he's only growing, man. He's only getting better, and I got my eye on him, to say the least, Schmo.
Well, the Schmo did say his name for a reason when we went on that rant last week about the loaded bantamweight division, because the Schmo is definitely convinced it is the deepest division in the UFC. No question about it. We brought up his name for a reason. Let's say Merab Dvalishvili gets through Jose Aldo. If those two are in a collision course for that wrestling style, we talked about it before the show started. You and Merab have the worst styles for this guy because you can wrestle, you can go on the feet, but how impressive is this guy on the feet? He is maybe 1 or 2 away. It's very reminiscent of Islam Makhachev's situation when he rose into the lightweight division. I mean, this guy just can win in all aspects, and his style is going to be very, very interesting for all of these contenders in the bantamweight division. But also Rakhmonov, man. He's on a collision course for gold with Khamzat Chimaev. The Schmo tweeted that in real time. What do you think about that? Rakhmonov in the welterweight division.
Rakhmonov. Oh, yeah. That's another big threat. You see how the new generation guys are coming up, and it's like, okay. Like, even Gamrot said he was the new generation. Like, no, you're not the new generation of style of fighting.
Gamrot's 31.
Yeah, but he's not the new gen. Anyways, but the new blood's coming in. But then who are you fighting, man? Like, that's my biggest thing. What names have you checked off your list? It was about time with Gilbert Burns. He fought Gilbert Burns, and he finally took somebody out in that. He finally beat somebody with the name. But we also saw that Khamzat could be. It was tested, and he could also, because there's a couple of times where he was breaking. You know what I'm saying? These are things that you're going to figure out, but you won't know until he finds a legit fighter. I'm not saying that anybody he hasn't fought is legit. I'm just saying, man, once you get to the top 10 and then to the top 5, when you get to the top 5, that's when the shizness gets really real.
Well, he beat Neil Magny. Neil Magny has, for months, maybe a couple of years, has been saying, I'll fight Khamzat Chimaev. What he did to Neil Magny was so impressive, just a domination. Who do you think fights for a gold title first? Umar Nurmagomedov or Rakhmonov in their respective divisions, Triple C? Who's fighting for gold first?
Probably Rakhmonov, 100%. Yeah, Umar. There's so many fighters at bantamweight. I think Umar needs to take his time with it. Yeah, he's ready, but still, man, like you want to make sure when you're ready that you got a bunch of that you have a bunch of experience under your belt. I talked about it too, man. When I got knocked out by Demetrious, man, I was in the UFC for about a year and a half before I got a title shot. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that type of caliber of athlete. But and plus you got Triple C in there. You got you got all kinds of people trying to get in there. From Sean O'Salty to myself to Dominic Snooze to Cheeto. I mean, there's a line, but he can cut it. He just has to open up that mouthpiece.
Ooh, we love it. Speak it. Get that English flowing through your system. You brought up Demetrious Johnson. Want to throw this out there because this is a loaded show. We got to get to UFC 276 preview. Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson coming to Arizona, training with you, Triple C. Tell the fans, what's the deal here?
Yeah, for all you fans that don't like Triple C, somehow these competitors, these goats tend to like Triple C. So it's going to be good, man. Demetrious is coming out tomorrow. We're going to game plan tomorrow. I'm going to shoot over to his house and watch some video, game plan for what's to come for these next week and a half. He's going to be out on AZ for a good amount of time and just help him game plan and make sure that everything's done on point.
He's got the rematch with Adriano Moraes. This is the last guy to beat him. The first guy to beat him, in a few years, maybe since you. You're the only one to beat him other than this guy. So he's fighting this guy. What do you think is necessary for him to hear to win this rematch and forget what happened in that first fight?
Mistakes. I mean, Demetrious Johnson literally got knee to the face, and there's a couple mistakes that he did, but nothing really crucial. But I think these people are really going to game plan for Demetrious now. They're going to try to really switch it up. They may try to press him. So you got to be prepared for both. You see, you got to be prepared for both. You got to give him like every different feel that you could possibly think of. But there's going to be a plan set in place, and we're going to isolate it. I'm telling you, like, just not even getting a chance to work with Demetrious. Like, I know he's super open-minded. He's going to be a whole new fighter. I'm not saying just tactically, being a lot smarter, and I just feel like it's a gift, Schmo, that I've had from all my years of competition. This is where Humble Henry comes out. So I just think I can add to his arsenal that he already has. That's really good.
Well, as long as you don't fight him again in your future, he's over there, won championship. I believe it's going to be in Singapore.
But you know what?
August 26th. What are you saying?
But you know what, Schmo? I would Demetrious Johnson's the only guy that would really make me go down 125 pounds. That I would really consider it. He's the only dude. But wow. now that we're gonna be homies, you never know, dude, because he's a competitor too. We're all about making money, so I would, you know what I mean.
Triple C, no more late night runs or deliveries, rather from McDonald's with the extra large fries and that orange crush soda. You've been doing that too often.
You know me too well, Schmo. Don't tell the world, please.
Oh, we'll keep it there. We'll keep it closer to the heart. There's more secrets that the Schmo can reveal. Let's talk about UFC 276. Let's do a little preview special. Gold medal moment. Israel Adesanya, Jared Cannonier, the main event. Are we hearing and new? But listen, what do you like the most about this matchup?
Yeah, the person that needs to adjust is Jared Cannonier. It's not like Israel's not going to go in there and just take somebody out with. I mean, he could only if you let him. If you let Israel be in that kicking range, because everything he does is just a setup to reach you with that kick, and people are not recognizing that. I don't understand why nobody wrestles him, and when they do, look at what the Polish Nightmare did. But these guys they're stuck on something else, and I really don't get it. I really don't. I don't see 185. I don't see any weight class really in comparison to 135 pound. The only weight class that I see is 155 pounds. Anyways, that being said, is Jared's really, he's gonna have to make it dirty. You're not technical like Israel. I think you can kick him, and I think you can wrestle him. I think that's how you beat him. You really do, because as much as he leans super hard with that leg, I think the fakes, the feints, all that's gonna have to take place. And if Jared Cannonier can do that, I think he can win the fight, because it's not about you just bringing the war. It's about you bringing the war in the best tactical sense.
Jared Cannonier, the Schmo's been interviewing him for years. This guy is so well-rounded. He's not talked about or appreciated enough. I mean, what he's done when he beat Anderson Silva, super impressive. And that fight against Robert Whittaker, I know we didn't get to see the best of him because he was checking a kick. Whittaker broke his arm. He battled him with a broken arm in that fight. But ever since then, he's been dismantling guys. This guy's once fought at heavyweight. He's gone all the way down to light heavyweight, then to middleweight, where he's just tearing through guys. This has all of the potential to be the fight we thought Paulo Costa and Israel Adesanya could have been. This fight, Jared Cannonier and Israel Adesanya. But with that said, is he dominant in the way that he just beats his opponents? It hasn't been flashy as of late. We haven't seen great fights of him. I mean, was the Marvin Vettori fight, the second one, really special? Was the fight that he had with Yoel Romero right before the pandemic very special?
No,
but the fights that got him there.
Schmo. There's only been one fight that's been entertaining. That's that Paulo Acosta. And Paulo Acosta wasn't there, but, we got to credit him.
Calvin Gastelum for the interim title was exciting.
You're right. Maybe a couple, but the majority of his fights, they haven't really been exciting. It's been a lot of talk, quite frankly, man. But we'll see. I think you don't want to underestimate the killer gorilla either, man.
Yeah.
That dude, he's a big body, man. And, sometimes when you get guys that I see him more of a freestyler. He's going to mix things. He's just going to go with the flow. But I hope he can make those adjustments, man. I really do. But, I hope Israel brings the entertainment. And he actually, not just before the fight, but actually literally like in the scrap where everything is good,
Israel Adesanya wins this fight with speed. Jared Cannonier wins this fight by making it dirty. Get in there, closing the distance, mudding things up, and not let Israel Adesanya get in the pocket, pick him apart, and fight his fight. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be interesting, but the Schmo's been chomping at the bit for this fight for years, and I'm excited that we're finally get to see this. Adesanya, if he wins in impressive fashion, the way he feels he needs to win, he's one step closer to challenging Anderson Silva is the greatest middleweight of all time.
Yeah. No, not yet.
Not one step closer. It doesn't mean he's gonna. If he gets through Cannonier, he's not there yet. But he's just one step closer.
Well, not just that, but I think more likely after this fight, I think he's gonna want to go up. If he does beat Cannonier, I think he's gonna take his chances with Yuri. I think he's going to go up. I don't think there's nobody at 185 pounds that will probably challenge him. And I think Yuri will accept. I think Yuri will literally accept that fight. And, it's going to be a battle of strikers. And who is it that could, that's more fundamentally sound. But there's also that Alex Pereira, the guy who was knocked him out twice. And they didn't knock him out with kicks. Knocked him out with the left hook. It was a left or right hook. I forget. And that's a guy that we cannot sleep on, because that's the fight that I really want to see out of all of them. Him and Sean Strickland,
Yeah, and that's going to be on the fight card. We're going to get to the bet on the lines, and we're going to talk about your prediction on that one. But that's why the Schmo doesn't think Adesanya, he beats Cannonier, he's going to go up to light heavyweight right off the bat. I feel like if Pereira gets through Strickland or Strickland gets through Pereira, he's going to defend against one of those guys. At least one defense would be against those guys and then go up to the light heavyweight division. But the Schmo will say this. If Adesanya gets this light heavyweight strap, we're jumping the gun here. Then the Schmo guarantees we'll eventually see Johnny Bones Jones and Adesanya. I don't care if it's not 205 and they agree to like a catchweight at 215. Those guys are going to clash if you see Adesanya holding a light heavyweight gold. They're both too much of gamers for that collision to not happen.
Jones would hurt him, dude. Like, that's not even like, I get it. It's exciting. He'll probably get the opportunity.
Money.
Yeah, no, I get that, but you're talking about Jones is just another creature, man. He's another human. Jones could literally outstrike him. With what he's picked up now and recognizing more of the distance and stuff in his position, Jones is the most dangerous guy to ever grace in any type of fight game in history. because he's just that good. He's a physical specimen with an IQ, and not just on top of that, he's a great student, Schmo. Like literally, man. John is a great student, man. Like he listens. He's eager to learn. There's a lot of things that he's doing that people don't see. He's not just a ball of talent, man. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a real humble side to him that's very cool, man. It's very precious.
Well, the Schmo gets an adrenaline dump every time we talk about Johnny Bones Jones, because why haven't we got him booked with Stipe Miocic? Let's get this guy fighting for the interim heavyweight gold already. Jesus. Let's move on to the silver medal moment. Your boy, Alexander Volkanovski against Max Holloway. The trilogy fight, baby. Triple C. Let's go. And still and new and why?
It depends. It depends what Max Holloway comes out with. If he's the same Max Holloway, we're going to see the same result. You know, just using hands, just a volume fighter, pressing, doing things like that. If Volkanovski is able to game plan and maybe wrestle a little bit more this fight or continue to keep kicking his legs, and we will see what the outcome may be. But it's up in the air, man, because you have to respect, man. Like Max Holloway could pull it off. But at the same time, Alexander Volkanovski has shown improvements and leaps and bounds. Like he understands the game, like he really does. But I think if anybody at 145 pounds could beat him, it's gonna have to be Max. If not, he's gonna fly through the whole 145 pound weight division, and that's the same reason why I want that fight, Schmo. But whatever, dude. I sound like a damn crybaby by now. I'm back in the USADA pool. I've been tested 3 times. So
you got tested a third time.
I got tested a third time, so I'm already, you know, my name's gonna be on the hat, man. So, you know, if he wants to go up and fight the winner, if he wins this fight, he wants to fight for the second bout. I think he does deserve it. I really do. But at the same time, it's like, you know, we're eventually gonna cross paths, and I know that for sure. Well,
Volkanovski certainly got the healthy competition competing with his buddy Adesanya in the pound-for-pound list. Obviously, we got Usman at the top at number one.
What are the pound-for-pound rankings right now?
I believe those guys are 2 and 3. If they're not, they should be. That's what the Schmo thinks, because I think Usman's number 1 and deservingly so, but I think those guys are 2 and 3.
And who's number 2?
I believe it is Adesanya. I'd have to check this out. Wait, let's look at these pound-for-pound rankings real quick.
No, but I don't think that's right, Schmo. I think it should be Kamaru. I get it. Alexander Volkanovski. Amanda Nunes.
Well, Amanda Nunes, she's not even a champion. No, the Schmo interviewed the champion of that bantamweight division recently. So Adesanya's 2. Actually, Volkanovski's 2. Adesanya's 3.
Yeah,
it used to be Adesanya 2. I think
that's about right. I would even put Charles the Bronx ahead of Adesanya.
He's number 4.
I would put Adesanya. I would put Adesanya number 4 just because of the track record that he's had and the finishes and things of that nature, you know. And Adesanya has a loss, whether he went up or he went down or he went to the side. You have a loss on your thing, and I think you being number 3. When I was competing, Schmo, about two plus years ago, just think about the top 3 that we had. We had John Jones number 1, Khabib Nurmagomedov number 2, and then Triple C number 3. I literally had 2 belts and Olympic gold medal, and I was ranked number 3. These dudes now, man, you can take 50 losses and be in the. But then again, I also started to realize that the pound for pound it just really didn't matter, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an opinion. And I used to want it so bad, but then I was just like, no, it's an opinion, man. I'm the only one in the whole UFC in the men's division that had 2 belts. Like, I had already separated myself more than any of those dudes. So to me, in my eyes, I was pound for pound.
We love the confidence and opinions. Everyone's got them, just like buttholes, Triple C. We totally understand you when it comes to that. But Dubronx Oliveira didn't make weight. They got him at 4. I understand the pound for pound. By the way, he's got the platinum blonde hair too. And Mike Perry. The Schmo's joining great company here, baby. Let's go. We love it. But anyways, Max Holloway is the guy to beat him. If not, I see Volkanovski going up to 155 and getting Dana White. Sean Shelby, Hunter Campbell, the guys giving him the green light to challenge for the 155-pound title if he does beat Max in the trilogy. 3 fights over Max Holloway, who a lot of considered him the greatest featherweight of all time. And by the way, if you didn't, it's Aldo, who Volkanovski's also got a W over. Let's go to the bronze medal. Sugar Sean O'Malley, the Sugar Show, he's back in town against Pedro Munhoz, baby. Let's go. Number 10 is Pedro. Number 13, Sugar Show. He's not unranked anymore.
Yeah. You know what, man? I'm gonna have to go with Sean on this one. I think through the grit, I think Pedro could beat him, but Pedro's gonna have to really cover distance. If Pedro doesn't make the fight dirty, he's gonna lose to Sean O'Malley. Man, you know what? I'm kind of flip-flopping back and forth because if he does bring that grit and he does do the right things and he does cover and he does close the distance, that's gonna be his fight. But man, Sean technically is good. Technically, like, he can punch straight, he can do straight. What Sean doesn't have is he doesn't have experience, and he doesn't have that high level grit. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that high level grit of Marlon Moraes blowing your left shoulder out, spraying both your ankles in the fight and still finding a way to win. He doesn't have that grit, so you're gonna have to. So if I was Pedro Munhoz, I would have to throw out the kitchen sink and make it dirty since the beginning because we saw Sean O'Malley. He looks at the clock when times are getting, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just a huge no. So you can do all that meditation, Sean, and everything that you're doing and whatnot and cold plunges. But if you cannot control your composure, that's a big weakness, man. And someone's going to expose that. And sometimes you have to discredit to the fighters that he's fighting. Can they recognize that? Can they see that? And to me, that's like the biggest thing. But he's going up against Pedro Munhoz. Pedro Munhoz is, he's a tough competitor. He's a top 10er. Is it a winnable fight for Sean? I think so. But can Pedro also hurt him? I think so too. So that's up in the air. I like Pedro. But it depends who comes out, Schmo.
Pedro's got the plus 225 odds. O'Malley minus 265. We're looking at the Bet Online odds. We're going to get to the pillow fights predictions next. But on that note, Pedro Munhoz, he's fought in so many wars. He's fought the who's who's. Has it finally caught up to him? Are we seeing the tail end of Pedro Munhoz in his career? That's a question. Which version's going to show up? But the big thing for him to get his hand raised is closing the distance, testing Sean O'Malley, bringing him to the deep waters for all the reasons that you just mentioned. Who's really tested him and got to the grit? Can we see him facing the adversity? I think O'Malley's jiu-jitsu, we haven't even seen it, but he's very good there. He's very underrated because people don't know about it there. He's got that lengthy body. If he fights at distance, keeps it there, uses speed to win, just like Adesanya using his speed advantage against Cannonier. That's how Sugar Sean O'Malley wins. It's a winnable fight for O'Malley, but it is a winnable fight for Pedro. It's just what version of Pedro, because we're going to see the best version of Sugar Sean O'Malley. The Schmo sees why the odds makers at BetOnline are giving him minus 265 O'Malley. The Sugar Show loves fighting in Vegas. Pay-per-view. I mean, it is what it is. He's expecting a knockout, a finish.
Yeah. Well, if he does it, that's to me, in my eyes, that'll be his first big win. I really do. You expected all that other stuff from him last time. Like, he's literally being fed. He's being spoon-fed by the UFC. So, whatever, man. This is going to be his first real competition, and we'll see if he backs it up with the top 10er.
Sugar Sean O'Malley, baby. Let's go. Let's see it. Let's bring it on to Pillow Fights, where you, Triple C, talk about the official predictions presented by BetOnline. Let's start off with Adesanya, Cannonier. Adesanya minus 425, Cannonier plus 325. What is the official prediction? We might be repeating what we talked about. Adesanya, Cannonier.
I'm just going to have to go with Israel Adesanya. I think he's too experienced. I would like to see Jared Cannonier kind of pull the upset, but I wouldn't put my money on that. I think the way Robert Whittaker, finished him, not saying that we can all have a bad fight, but just the way he finished him or whatnot, I'm just going to go Israel Adesanya. He's more technical. I think he's going to leg kick him, and that's all she wrote.
Let's go down to Jim Miller, Donald Cowboy Cerrone. This is like the third time Donald Cowboy Cerrone has to cut to 155. The other 2 times he's cut for the Joe Lozon fights, he didn't even get the fight, man. What kind of toll is that going to have on his body? Cerrone's plus 185 money. Jim Miller minus 220. Battle of veterans. Battle of the guys with the most amount of fights in the UFC. Combined, nobody's had more fights in the UFC than these two. And
How many?
In the octagon. I don't know. The Schmo just is naming this off the top of the head. That's all we're doing here.
I think, as crazy as it sounds, Schmo, I think Jim Miller has more than Cowboy Dude.
I think so.
And
Maybe
that's
like
a
by
lot.
A lot.
That's crazy, but I'm gonna have to go with Jim Miller. I think he has less damage, and I think Cowboy's been in too many wars, man. So I think, he wants to get up to 50, so that's 2 more fights. But I'm just gonna have to go with Jim Miller. That's where I put my money on.
All right, Triple C. Speaking of guys who've been in brawls and wars, Robbie Lawler, former champion in the welterweight division, against Brian Barberena, minus 120 for Lawler. Barberena plus 100. It's going to be a war, baby. I can understand, the Schmo can understand why the odds makers are favoring the former welterweight champion.
Yeah, no, of course, man. He's been there before. He has experience. He has great takedown defense. And he's just a veteran of the game. Even though he's probably taking more punishment than Barberena, I just feel like the ball's just rolling for Robbie Lawler. I think that's going to be a victory for him.
And the Schmo thinks that the time between fights, because we saw him fight Nick Diaz, but just the time off, he's still a warrior. He's got a great work ethic. What he does over at Sanford MMA in South Florida and the Barwick Center for training. Robbie Lawler, force to be reckoned with, still in the game. Jalen Turner, the Tarantula, against Brad Riddell. The Schmo thinks this is contender for fight of the night. 2 guys that can bang. Jalen Turner, he's kind of like an Anderson Silva built in the lightweight division. Brad Riddell, though, this guy brawls. The war he had with Fiziev, his stand-up capability, both these guys. Turner's going to have the length. Riddell's got to close the distance. Riddell's plus 115. Turner's minus 135. This is the fight the Schmo wouldn't put any money on. But if you're gambling, man, we can understand plus 115 for Brad Riddell. If you're a Daredevil, both these guys are going to bang. Someone's likely going to get knocked out.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything to add on that, Schmo.
All right, but you are going to have something to add to Alex Pereira, favored minus 120, against Sean Tarzan Strickland, plus 100, bet online.
Wow, that's a good one, man. I think, you don't sleep on Sean Strickland either. Sean Strickland is, the only thing that scares me with Sean Strickland is, does he really know how to train? Because if he trains how he talks and what he says, it's like, that's not always good for you. But if he doesn't take damage in the head, that could also be something that really helps him. And I know Alex Pereira, he's been in the striking game. He's been a glory light heavyweight world champ. So he knows what he's doing. He knows how to strike. I think he's just a sharper guy. But I also wouldn't count Sean Strickland now. But for this one, if I had to put my money, I'm going Alex Pereira.
What version of Sean Strickland will show up? If Sean Strickland puts his ego away and is a gamer, a competitor, a martial artist, Sean Strickland can win this fight. He grapples with the best of him. He's grappled with Khamzat Chimaev. He's been spending his time grappling with Ankalaev. Some say is the future light heavyweight champion who will challenge Yuri Prochazka. He's going up and grappling with that guy, light heavyweight division in the wrestling. If Sean Strickland puts the ego aside, wrestles, grapples with him, he's one tough cookie. He could win this fight and dirty the things up. But if he sits there and trades with him and is not smart and takes the shots, he could get picked apart. It depends what Sean Strickland is. Sean Strickland, don't underestimate. You want to be a gambling man, plus 100. And it's the final one. I saved the best for last for you, Triple C. Alexander Volkanovski, minus 200. Max Holloway, plus 170. Remember what the odds were the first 2 times they fight. Whew.
Yeah, like I said before, it's all going to depend on Max Holloway. Can he adjust? Can he come up with a new game plan? I didn't see it the last 2 fights. I saw the same Max Holloway, so it's just hard for me. But I'm going to have to go with Alexander. Unfortunately, Alexander, the average. He makes me sick, but the little midget could fight.
There it is, folks. Bet online odds. You heard from Triple C. You heard from the Schmo. We got a loaded week. It's Las Vegas International Fight Week. We got the Hall of Fame with DC and Khabib. Triple C's coming to town. Loaded week. Make sure you watch, listen, subscribe. Enjoy the fights. What's your name?
I am Triple C.
I am Blonde Schmo. We will deliver, and we are